All green. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
The atom bomb is here. It exists. We must look to the future. Up until now, only 3 have been exploded, and none over the water. It is the duty of the military services to explore the military might of this new weapon. We want to be prepared for any use of atomic energy that may become necessary, whether offensive or defensive.
The site of the test will be Bikini Atoll in the Marshalls Group. Bikini is situated in the Marshall Islands. It's between 160 and 170 degrees east longitude. The lagoon is 27 miles long, that is from east to west, and a little more than half of that north to south.
Bikini Atoll, 1946. The war in the Pacific had finally come to an end, and the Marshall Islands had been liberated by the Americans. For the people of this remote atoll, life was slowly returning to normal after years of starvation at the hands of the Japanese occupiers. Little did they realize, however, that their liberators would soon come to them with a request that was to have lasting consequences.
Commodore Wyatt, on behalf of the United States government, went up to Bikini and on behalf of the U.S. government asked the people of Bikini if they'd be willing to move from Bikini for the good of mankind and to end all world wars. And they were going to test these weapons called atomic bombs, which of course the biggest weapon the Bikinians had seen up to that point was a gun being fired, so they had no concept of what these weapons were.
Well, now then, James, will you tell them that the United States government now wants to turn this great destructive force into something good for mankind?
And when they were asking the Bikinians to move, these were very tall, strong men, these Americans with uniforms and stars and guns and planes in the lagoon. And even though they were asking it like it was a question, the Bikinians were awestruck and basically felt like they didn't have really an option to say yes or no. Of course, they said yes. Well, you know, geez, whatever you guys want to do, we'll do it.
Loading all their possessions onto giant US Navy ships, the Bikinians were relocated to the uninhabited island of Rongerik. Bikini was now ready for the greatest show on Earth.
They chose these first 2 tests as a big attempt to make a propaganda film. Half the world's supply of motion picture was on Bikini. Motion picture film was on Bikini in 1946. They had 42,000 people. They had thousands upon thousands of radiation recording devices. They had people from all over the world there. They were broadcasting these blasts live on radio. It was a really big show. Everybody in the world knew what was going on in Bikini. They had what would have been the world's 6th largest fleet of ships up there for these tests in an attempt to prove that perhaps nuclear weapons could render the Navy obsolete.
Nearly 60 years later, John England has come back to Bikini Atoll. A newly enlisted radio technician, he watched the explosions in awe. His son Mike reads from his journal.
July 25th, 1946, 0840. Explosion occurred, one of the most beautiful sights I have ever seen. Beauty in the sense of power. The first thing one could see was a column of water resembling a wax-dripped candle, and then all of a sudden, at the uppermost part of the column, the water burst into a cloud in the shape of a ring, slowly descending and forming a huge ring surrounding all of the target ships and the atoll.
(2005) Bikini Atoll. In the depths of the lagoon, decaying wrecks lie, silent testimony to the awesome power of these weapons. Most of the infrastructure on Bikini is related to the dive resort. Simple blocks house guests, and a nice touch is that each room is named after one of the sunken ships. What the island lacks, though, is its original inhabitants.